I am with Aceface, and today IDICBeer 40k is going to play 30k. Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, today is a day that we've been planning for quite some time. We're going to be playing 30k World Eaters versus my 13th company. This is the first time I've played the full army. They've got everything painted so far, and I can't wait to get going. So I'm here with Aceface, as I said, once again. Awesome channel. If you haven't checked out Aceface's channel yet already, please do so. There is a link in the description below, so head on over and give him a sub if you haven't done so. And Aceface, are you looking forward to this game?
No, absolutely not.
No?
No. No, this is going to be epic. This is going to be so much fun. I mean, like you said, this has been a long time in the making, and you know, I think I've been watching, like so many others, I've been watching the progress of your 13th company, and it's a great opportunity to actually kind of see them all on the board. So this is going to be epic. This is going to be absolutely epic.
Yeah, can't wait to get started. So without further ado, let's have a look at the armies and get this battle rolling. Okay, so let's have a look at my Space Wolves army. This is the 13th company Space Wolves. I'm obviously using 40k rules to make the army list. It's 2,000 points. I'm starting with the Wolf Unleashed detachment, giving me some outflank bonuses. So 3 troops choices, I'm going to be able to outflank them on a 4+, and the other units are going to be able to outflank on a 6+. So that gives me some deployment variation, which would be quite nice. So let's have a look at the detachment. Okay, so heading up to detachment is Ragnar Beermane. He's got a little Fenrisian wolf with him as a piece of war gear. The model is converted, as you can probably see, so I've used a couple of different sculpts to make up my model. But yeah, he's going to head up, and he's going to be hopefully a beast in close combat, especially if there's any challenges that are going to be issued. Okay, moving on to troops. My first troops choice is a 10-man squad of Grey Hunters. Starting on the left at the front there, we've got a pack leader. He's got a multi-melter and a power weapon. He's also got melter bombs. And then we've got 2 melter gun guys. We've got a guy with a power fist, and we've got a standard bearer. And then obviously 5 standard guys just with close combat weapons, bolt gun and bolt pistol. Second squad of Grey Hunters. This is more plasma orientated, so again starting at the front on the left, we've got the pack leader. He's got a combi plasma with a power weapon. We've then got 2 plasma gun guys, and on the right at the front there, he's got a power weapon, and the other guys at the back are just standard with a close combat weapon, bolt pistol, bolt gun. And the third and final squad of Grey Hunters is another duplicated plasma gun unit. So we've got a pack leader with a power weapon and combi plasma, 2 plasma guns, a power weapon, and the rest at the back there with close combat weapons, pistols and bolt guns. And then for the elite's choice, I've got 5 Wolven. I've got a pack leader with the claws. I've got another guy with the claws. I've got a Great Fost Axe, 2 Thunderhammer Storm Shield guys, and they've all got the Stormfang auto launcher. So now we're going into the heavy support. 1 squad of the Longfangs. I've got 3 last cannons and 1 missile launcher with an ancient in that squad. And the second squad of Longfangs has 3 missile launchers and 1 last cannon with an ancient in, and that makes up the Unleashed detachment. Right, then I've taken the Wide Storm Brotherhood formation. I've got 2 rune priests in there. The first one has a plasma pistol. He's also got the Armour of Rust, giving him a 2+ invulnerable and a 4+ invulnerable, making my enemy at -5 in the challenge. He's also got digital weapons, so that he can re-roll 1 failed to wound roll each close combat phase. The second rune priest, he has runic armour, giving him a 2+ and a 6+ invulnerable save. And lastly, I have the Wolfkin formation, 3 squads of 10 Fenrisian wolves, and they're going to give me some benefits. If they're 12 inches from the table side, then any outflankers will automatically come on that side. So that's pretty useful, considering I'm hopefully going to be flanking some of these units. And that makes up the whole army. So let's have a look now at Aceface's list.
Okay, so here's my 2,000 points of World Eaters. Today I'm using the Rite of War, which is Berserker Assault, which basically makes me pretty angry on the charge. So it gives me hatred outside of my own deployment zone. It also means I can reroll ones. I have to try and overrun the enemy with advance, with if I win the assault, which is just kind of very world eatery. So my HQ is Kharn the Bloodied, who's at the front. He's got Gorechild today. Angron's not on the battlefield, so he's allowed it, which is a really, really handy weapon. He gets +1 to seize, which is a nice little rule, and he's a pretty decent guy in combat as well. He's flanked to his right hand side by Garland Solak, who's the World Eater special character apothecary. He allows one of my units to be inducti, and he also gives a 4-up feel no pain to the unit that he joins. So the inducti allows one unit to gain +1 strength but -1 ballistic skill, and we'll go straight into that, which is the unit to the left hand side, which is a unit of bog standard tactical marines. They all have their close combat weapons, which is pretty nice because the axe is a +1 strength anyway, and because they're inducti, they go up to strength 6, which is pretty brutal. The sergeant has got a combi melter, and he has artificer armour as well and melter bombs. But that unit can't score, so they are just there to do some damage. To the right hand side we have another standard tactical marine squad. The sergeant has a lightning claw and has artificer armour. He also has melter bombs. Now, still in troops, because we can take assault marines as troops, I have 2 units, identical assault marines, so 2 units of 10, and the sergeant has a power fist and he has melter bombs, and he has artificer armour. Other than that, both units have their close combat weapons, and are pretty handy really, so they both stand as troop choices. So into the elites, I have another apothecary, which is at the front on the left hand side, who has his meteor hammer, which is a special World Eater exclusive war gear. It's not a bad little weapon, just very fluffy and looks quite cool on the model, and he will also make a unit a little bit more survivable. Then behind them we have the Red Butchers, the legendary Red Butchers. Hopefully they'll be there to try and deal with some of Nick's heavy hitters, and the Sergeant, or the Devourer, has got 2 chain fists, which makes him very, very handy. They have a dedicated transport as an Anvilus drop pod, or a Dreadclaw, as many call them, and that will be getting those guys in the thick of the action as quickly as possible. To the left hand side of the Anvilus drop pod we have a Contemptor Dreadnought. He's got a Carey's assault cannon, and he has a close combat weapon with a melter in the fist. No other upgrades for him, but he hopefully will do some work. And the last, but definitely not least, is my Leviathan Dreadnought. Again, he has close combat weapons. He has a siege drill and a siege claw. He also has a phosphate launcher, and he has Volkite underslung weaponry as well. And he is definitely going to be a heavy lifter in this army. And that is my 2,000 points of World Eaters.
Right, thanks Ace, and I have to say, wow, this army looks absolutely amazing. There's a loss of blood here on these models. They've seen a loss of battle by the looks of it, and I can't wait to get this game going. So let's get set up, find out what the mission is, and have a look at the battlefield. Right, here we go. So we've done the mission, we've rolled off. I'm going first. I'll run over the mission in a second, just going to go through my deployment. So for the detachment, I rolled to see who outflanked. 1 unit of Venrisian Wolves got a 6, but I decided not to outflank them. And I automatically had 1 unit to go into outflank. I put a squad of Grey Hunters in, 1 with the Rune Priest, although it's going to stop my dual abilities with the Brotherhood formation. It does mean that the big guy here is on the table, ready to charge forward to try and get into some sort of challenge. So we'll see if that happens later. Right, so deployment. On the left here I've got the missile launcher Longfangs. On the flank some Venrisian Wolves. So 1 squad of Melter orientated Grey Hunters there. We've got the Wolven and some Venrisian Wolves just there. And this side we've got the Plasma Grey Hunters. The other Plasma guys are in reserve. And once again, mirrored on this side, we've got the Las Cannon Longfangs and another squad of Venrisian Wolves. So these Venrisian Wolves are trying to stay 12 inches of the flank because they let me automatically choose where the reserves come from if they're 12 inches from the edge of the table. Right, okay, so I'm going to go over to Ace now, let him run over the list and also the missions for you.
Okay, so we've pretty much mirrored that. So obviously I was going second and I wanted it to mirror where the strength in Nick's army is coming from. So we split our army pretty much down the middle as well. I've got 2 units of assault marines that are either side, looking at the fast units of the Venrisian Wolves, easy to say for some. And then we also have a Contempt Dreadnought in one of the ruins, kind of getting some cover. Don't want him to be picked off too quickly by the las cannons. In the middle we have the main ruckus of the main strength of the army, which is 2 tactical units, one which is the Inducti with the extra strength, and they have got an apothecary in there, and then in the standard tactical marine squad there is both the 2 characters, Kharn and Sarlacc. They're both sitting in there, and as I said, the assault marines are over the far side. So the mission we're playing is a mission called Tide of Carnage. So I think very fitting, these 2 armies. And the way it works is the board is split into 3 areas. So you have your deployment zones, you have no man's land, and you have the enemy's deployment zone. So at the end of the game, if you hold any part of those areas of the board, you gain points. So if you take your own deployment zone, that is 3 points. So you score 3 points for holding your own deployment zone, and there must be no enemy scoring units within that area. So that means basically no troops choices. In the middle of the board, that will be 5 points. So if you manage to hold that with no scoring units within that area of the board, you'll score 5 points. And if you can hold down the enemy's deployment zone, then you're going to score 7 points. So on top of that, you've got some bonus missions. So you have the standard Slay the Warlord. So we've got 2 furious warlords here that definitely want to try and kill each other. So you get an extra point for that. And on top of that, there is a unique special victory point which is given to the last man standing, which is the army with the most units alive. And that are the special missions for that. We are doing night fighting, so it's night fighting first turn, but other than that, it's going to be just loads of carnage.
Excellent. We also came up with a special rule for this little broken bit bridge here. You are able to try and jump across, do a Superman jump, but if you roll a 1, you do fall off the bridge and die. Okay, so yeah, I said I'm currently going first. Let's see if Aceface is going to try and seize the initiative.
Okay, because I have Calm, I get +1 to seize, so I am seizing on a 5. Let's see whether we can get lucky here. Come on, for the World Eaters.
No!
And that's a 5, so off we go, turn 1 for the World Eaters.
Okay, so turn 1 for the World Eaters, and quite an aggressive turn. This drop pod here actually tried to land here, but did quite a big scatter into the building. The guys are inside, but obviously didn't get out. And then everything advanced forward. Only thing of note was one of these jump guys died on the dangerous terrain. Yay! But everyone else just basically trundled forward, getting into position. This big what's it called?
Leviathan Dreadnought.
Leviathan Dreadnought shot up at my Longfangs just in the building here. I did put the Ancient at the beginning. He took the first shot and died. Everything else was saved with cover saves. And then I also got some shots from the other Dreadnought just over there into my Venrisian Wolves. Using the cover saves, managed to only lose 1, so that was pretty useful. The rest of the units that couldn't shoot just ran forward. It's getting pretty scary. Everything is very, very close, and my army is quivering in their boots. No, of course they're not. We're wolves. We're going to charge forward. So it's turn 1 for the Space Wolves. Ow! Okay, so Space Wolves turn 1. I moved up both the units of Grey Hunters just going forward. Try to bubble wrap the Wolven here. Couldn't really see any point in trying to do much with the drop pod because it's an assault vehicle anyway, so some assault is definitely going to happen probably next turn. And then I looked at doing the psychic phase. I targeted this unit just here with my Rune Priest, which was in range just here of 18 inches. Did Tempest Wrath first of all. Everyone took danger chain checks, no one was killed. I did make the -1 ballistic skill, not that they shoot much. And then I used Fury of the Wolf Spirit, managed to kill a few guys with that, and then I used Living Lightning, managed to kill a couple of guys with that. It left the Power Fist in the open, so I decided to put the whole squad of Longfangs into that unit, yeah, I managed to take the Power Fist off. That was all though, I didn't actually roll that well. I was hoping to kill a couple of other guys as well, but just the Power Fist went down, but that was still a good bonus. The other Longfangs did a split fire. I put the missile launcher into that big guy, missed, and then that was the last cannon. The missile launchers went into this squad here. I did 3 missiles, rolled 3 6s to hit, managed to get some wounds in, but saved did 2 6+ cover saves because it's night fight at the moment on turn 1. The Venrisian Wolves, because they don't obviously have frag grenades, I decided just to hunker them down into terrain. 1 squad there and 1 squad over here. These are barking at this squad as they die. Okay, so that was a fun first turn. Let's move on now to turn 2 for the World Eaters. Okay, so turn 2 for the World Eaters. Just starting at the back here. These troops here moved and ran, but very, very slowly, about 3 inches in total. So just hanging out at the back. This squad here moved a little bit faster. He's got Kharn in there. And also this Dreadnought eyeing up an assault on my Grey Hunters just in the terrain here. These jetpack guys moved up and decided to shoot my Venrisian Wolves. I went to ground, lost a couple in shooting. And then over this side, this Dread moved out of the building, and these moved up into the terrain, ready to assault my wolves that were just there. The Dread shot into the Longfangs. I lost the Ancient and also a last cannon. I do need to do a leadership check on that, so let's just quickly do that now. 3, they're fine. And then these guys here, the Red Butchers, they got out of the drop pod. Yeah, seems like my bubble wrapping worked slightly, although probably Ace's plan was all along to go into my Grey Hunters, but that is what he did. So we'll come back to the assaults. So over here, first of all, they tried to assault my wolves after shooting. -1 ballistic skill, no damage done there. I did go to ground again. And then they tried to assault me, and they only had, I rolled a 3, so -2, 1 inch charge, didn't make it in. And then over here, the Dread, who selected not to shoot, just to make sure that he was in the best possible range to assault. However, I only rolled, I think it was 4 inches, so I didn't get in. I did Overwatch, I did no damage in Overwatch. However, as you can see, the Venrisian Wolves here have all died from the onslaught of attacks. I killed 3 in return, so it wasn't too bad points wise, probably a good trade-off. And then they've just ran to, well, they basically consolidated to the closest unit, which was here, but still safely in that building. We then have the big assaults here. So these guys moved in. As I said, I overwatched, did no damage. A challenge was issued. I accepted the challenge from Mr. Wolf, as I call him, this Rune Priest, up against this guy here. Who is he? Sorry?
The Devourer.
Devourer, yeah. And then we went into the assault. My initiative went first. Got 1 wound off one of these guys, but that was all. The rest of my army was, well, the rest of the unit was easily wiped out with all of those AP2 attacks. So the whole unit gone except for the challenge. We went into the challenge. Yeah, loads of attacks coming in. Mr. Wolf ended up, after the wounding, only having 1 invulnerable save to make. He's got a 6+ save, and I rolled a 6. My attacks in return also only made 1 wound, and that was saved as well, the 4+ invulnerable. And then I found my leadership, and I ran 9 inches just here. So somehow, Mr. Wolf didn't die. And that was the entirety of turn 2 for the World Eaters. Now I have some reserves, so let's roll and see if they come on. A 6, they certainly do, so let's see where they come from. Okay, so the Space Wolves turn 2. My reserves did come on. Put them over on this side, and they were eyeing up the Dreadnought, which was just over there with the smoke coming out of it. However, it wasn't them that destroyed that. It was Mr. Worf, who went into the building there. He did his psychic power, the other rune priest, on the table, and managed to obliterate this. Actually, it's just wrecked, to be fair, but still a good job for me. So these guys, in the end, shot at these jump guys. Didn't actually do any damage. My Fenrisian wolves went in and assaulted them. I lost the assault and I ran away, just running there. So they've just consolidated into the terrain. Over on this side of the table, we were working on the other Dreadnought. I thought it'd be fantastic to take both out in one turn. So I moved up my unit here and shot all of my mounted guns in there and totally whiffed. I did nothing. Also shot this squad of Longfangs, ordered the guns into him, and I did nothing. So in a brave move, I decided to assault. I have Ragnar Beermane with some rending attacks, quite a number of attacks, a power fist, a melter bomb as well. I did cause 1 whole point, but that was all, so not very successful. However, I only lost 3 guys in the attacks back, so we're locked in combat there. Hopefully I might be able to whittle a couple more wounds off. Then these wolves went into the building, just trying to get some nice protection. Another unit on the table, because there's quite a number of World Eaters still hanging around. And then the Wolven did what they had to do. They went into the Red Butchers. I think this was an assault that was always going to happen. The Devourer there gave a challenge out, and I accepted it with my little pack leader, who on initiative managed to take him out, so that was very useful. The ensuing assault, I basically rolled like a beast with my invulnerable saves and my feel no pains on the shields. I did lose 1 shield guy, but I did manage to kill all but 1 of the Red Butchers there, and we're just locked in combat. And that was the end of my turn 2. So we're going to move in now to turn 3 for the World Eaters. Okay, so turn 3, and the World Eaters have found their fists. Lots of damage done this turn. So what happened? Okay, so first of all, the 3 jump guys that were just hanging around there declined to go and assault my Grey Hunters, and instead decided to chase down my wolves, and that they did. They assaulted, I failed my leadership, and they ran. Well, they were just swept. The flying pod flew over Mr. Worf, hit him, but I saved it. It was fine. And then we went over here. So these guys moved up, assaulted my Fenrisian wolves. They did shoot first, I went to ground, lost a couple. They got quite a nice consolidation move. Almost maximum movement, and they moved as far away from the Wolven, who managed to kill the last guy and then consolidated, but only consolidated 1 inch. So that was there. Over this side, these jump guys moved up into the building and quite easily took out my Longfangs. I was hoping to do some damage in Overwatch, but it didn't happen. And then this very slow moving unit that was in this building finally managed to get up, and they assaulted this big assault that we were here. Kharn issued a challenge to Ragnar Beermane, which of course he accepted. This is what we wanted to see all game. Kharn definitely has the upper hand because he's got that 2+ save, and my weapon is only AP3. However, we went and swung at each other. I lost 1 wound. I did no damage to Kharn. And then, yeah, just sheer number of attacks took out all of my Grey Hunters. All of them gone. However, I did strike at the same time with initiative, so I managed to kill 5 of those World Eaters there, which was pretty useful, gets the numbers down. So there's not too much left on the board from my point of view. Basically, I need these Wolven to go over here and munch through the entire army. That is the plan. Okay, let's see what I can do then. So, turn 3 coming up. Okay, Space Wolves turn 3. So I decided to go into hero mode. So I'm trying to scare Ace here. I've decided I'm going to try and table him. So these guys here, I think actually these have been quite heroic in this turn. I moved that unit there towards Ace's deployment zone. 7 points on offer if I can stay in there without his units in there. And they all shot into this unit, plasmid guns and everything. He saved everything. Shot the rune priest who got off of the building down there into them, did nothing. Shot my psychic powers, 3d6 shots with all the extra rerolls into there and did nothing. The long fangs, thought it was a waste of time shooting those guys, so instead shot this pod, managed to take 1 whole point off and destroy one of the guns. In the meantime, the Wolven moved and ran and assaulted here and wiped out the whole unit. However, I did lose 2 Wolven. Because of the stretched run, I wasn't able to get my shield up front, so I lost a couple of claws in the assault. However, we did do the job and get rid of those. These 2 little wolfies, they actually managed to consolidate. That was quite useful. And then we went into close combat here. The challenge continued. No wounds on either side. The dreadnought hit me. I saved everything. These guys hit me. What came through I managed to save. So no damage on either side. Very, very useful, and I think a bit of a surprise for Ace there. Okay, so World Eaters turn 4, and Ace starts to think about winning this game now. The fluff side's gone. So these guys here with the jetpacks, they moved up and then ran, heading towards our own deployment zone, trying to deny me points for this unit, trying to score it. And then on the other side of the table, another move similar. These guys basically moved off of here, trying to hide and also get into my deployment zone. Probably not a lot I can do about that one, to be fair. And there was no shooting, so we went straight into the assault here. I managed to wound Kharn, and I took another wound for Ragnar, but just from a little guy down there. The dreadnought missed, Kharn missed. Well, actually I saved everything, to be fair. Okay, so we're just locked in combat, so it's all happening in the middle of the table as we move on to turn 4 for the Space Wolves. Okay, so Space Wolves turn 4. Now this mission is a fixed number of turns, and it's only 5 turns. And we've just added up the points so far, and it's incredibly close. In actual fact, this combat here is probably going to be the deciding factor. But anyway, what's happened? So I basically moved and ran these guys towards Ace's table edge, trying to secure my points there. In the meantime, the Rune Priest opened up their power, 3d6 on those 3 assault marines that were there, and I managed to wipe them out. Very, very useful, and potentially a turning point for me getting my point. The Long Fangs had nothing to shoot at. Everything else is locked in combat, apart from the other squad of jump marines just hiding there. I just moved my wolves there because these wolves are gonna take them out. We all know it's gonna happen. And then we went into the assault. Now my 2 Wolven that were just there went round the building, got into assault with that dread, had 1 Thunderhammer and also the shield, the pack leader with the claws. The claws took out all of the guys that were there. That was a unit destroyed. I did get 1 whole point off of the dread, but nothing more than that, and that dread took out the Wolven, so I did lose the Wolven. Over here, tin spoons will not being able to kill each other. Kharn is on 2 wounds, I'm on 1 wound. The challenge is on as we move in to the World Eaters' last turn, turn 5. Okay, so that is the last turn for the World Eaters, turn 5. Not much left to do, so I tried my absolute best to bait Aceface into bringing these guys, which are scoring. I tried every trick in the book, but he didn't fall for it. I was hoping he was going to come here, assault my wolves, kill them, and then leave my long fangs to shoot into them. But it didn't happen. So he just stood where he was. And rightly so, because we then went into the assault. It was another battle of the warlords, and sadly Ragnar Beermane lost his last wound. And then Kharn is just standing there. He's only on 1 wound left, and to be fair, unless I take Kharn out with his 1 wound left, this game is probably going to be a draw. I have 2 Fenrisian wolves. Can they take the last wound off of Kharn for the win? We will find out. Okay, so turn 5, the final turn for the Space Thralls. I tried every trick in the book that I could to try and turn this around. So I moved Mr. Worf in range of 24 inches, trying to shoot Kharn through the doors of the building. Couldn't quite see him, so I had to shoot the apothecary, and I did manage to kill him, so that was nice. I then used the long fangs to shoot into the dread. The 2 last cannons totally missed, however the missile launcher took another wound, so the dreads lost 3 wounds, but still 2 left. And then it was the turn for the Fenrisian wolves. So I moved the Fenrisian wolves up to take out Kharn, or at least try to. It wasn't going to happen, we knew it. Overwatch fouled, and then you killed how many wolves?
1 wolf.
1 wolf. And then, guess what happened? You see that 1 there? Yeah, Kharn died to a Fenrisian wolf, which gave me Slay the Warlord, and also gave me more units on the table than the World Eaters. The main mission was drawed with 7 points each, my unit in his deployment zone, this scoring unit in my deployment zone. So that was a draw, so I won just on the secondary objectives. Literally, it was down to the last dice roll for the win for the 13th Company. Right, okay, we're going to have a little synopsis now about the game. Right, okay, there you go. So that is my first 30k game. And wow, what a game. I have to say, if that is anything to go by for 30k, then I'm missing out on something, because that was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was pretty epic. That was, awesome fun.
Yeah, really enjoyed that. Your army looked amazing on the table.
Thank you very much. And likewise, that's the best thing about the hobby, isn't it? You know, when you kind of spend all that time and you get that opportunity to kind of play with them like that, and not just take them off straight away. You know, have a lot of fun with the armies. You know, that you can't get any better than that, really.
No, and we tried to make the army list to make it an epic battle, and Absolutely. It ended on an epic battle. In actual fact, it ended on the very last dice roll.
The last bite.
And we won't mention that a Fenrisian wolf killed Kharn. We won't mention that.
Stop it. So you can go off people really quickly.
Well, you can, can't you? That was also my first outing with the Wolven.
Yeah.
Wow, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they don't mess around.
No. And really enjoyed playing with the whole army, really.
Yeah.
But for me, man of the match, although I've got 3 actually. The army performed very well. In particular, Mr. Worf, the Rune Priest, he did absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, Ragnar Beermane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And Mr. Wolf.
And the Fenrisian Wolf. I mean, I've got 3 man of the matches. So that was great.
Yeah.
If I could change something about the army, not a lot I could change, because obviously I'm basically using every single point available, loads of war gear and stuff and upgrades. I think potentially the outflank of that unit, not necessarily a mistake, because ultimately it did win me your objective in your deployment.
Yeah, it was crucial, wasn't it? Yeah.
But if I had it on the table, I would have had a lot more killing power.
Yeah.
Because you did munch through, when it came to about turn 3, and we looked at each other, it was like almost like, wow, you know, we thought you were going to win it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But what a turnaround. From your point of view, what do you think was the man of the match from your army?
It's a tough one. I mean, everything did pretty well, to be fair. You know, Kharn probably underperformed today with his stat line and what he should do. It probably took him too long to get through Ragnar. But then Ragnar was a boss. He bossed it, didn't he? So,
He did, yeah.
what do I think was it was quite a good, well-rounded. I think everything in my list did pretty well. I mean, what do I think that's a really, really tricky one. But I think ultimately the Inducti, when they first came in and cleared out your unit straight in one round of combat and put it so it was just Ragnar, as at a very cheap points unit, they're a unit that are coming in with strength 6 axes, re-rolling all those hits first round of combat. I mean, that was, if anything, the big star of my army. That Rite of War being able to re-roll first round of combat.
That was fantastic. Yeah, worked very well.
It meant that most combats I was seeing things off. The Red Butchers were awesome, but you had to deal with them. And I think, you know, they would have gone on the rampage, but they met the one thing on the board that was their match, if not better.
I wouldn't have liked to have seen them in any other unit.
No.
The Wolven obviously luckily did sort them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in my army, what did you enjoy about my army?
It was a great rounded list. I mean, that's the thing, you know. I think, you know, as you said, the best thing was the fact that we planned this army.
Yeah.
You know, you brought what you could bring. I've got a lot more options with my World Eaters army, but I wanted to build something that we'd have a challenging game, and there'd still be some hard stuff in there. I think for me, the one real star was your Rune Priest. I just really didn't have anything. Once he managed to, because the thing is, he managed to break out of that combat with the Red Butchers, where mathematically he should be dead turn 2.
Yeah.
He managed to survive in there with a pretty poor save, to be fair. He's only got like a 6-up invuln. He hung in there, and then after that, 3 rounds, he absolutely laid waste to unit after unit, took out the Contemptor, took out the Apothecary at the end, and was absolutely just annihilating unit by unit. I think he was worth his weight at a reasonably price point unit.
Yeah,
again.
I mean, that Psychic Power only had 2 Rune Priests tonight as well, and that was enough, wasn't it? Imagine if you had more hanging around the board.
Yeah, nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Nasty. So if I could, I suppose, if I could change anything, I suppose that's, you know, what we kind of said.
Yeah.
But now it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I've got, if you've seen this army sort of previously, I've got ways of making this army a lot more filthy. It's 30k, so it's not up to the high cheese levels of some of my armies, but there's a way of making this World Eater army a lot more nasty and have a real bite to it early in the game. We purposely didn't want to play it that way. You know, so it's a real difficult one. I could make it better quite easily. I mean, originally I was going to put things in the Spartan tank, and then you would have found it very, very difficult to deal with that, and then that could have gone around, could have been popping things off with the las cannons and really delivering stuff wherever I wanted it. So that's always a good one. Or more pods, drop things even more in danger zones.
Yeah.
But, you know, for the game that we wanted, this list was a perfect matchup.
It was, yeah,
absolutely
perfect. So there you go. That is the game. And like I said, I very much enjoyed it. So thanks very much for coming down.
That's a pleasure.
I hope to see you again soon.
No, I'm not coming back. No, not unless you take that wolf out. He's looking at me at the moment, guys. He's looking at me and he's laughing at me. He's just laughing. That howl that you hear at the front of all of his videos, that's that wolf laughing at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, pleasure.
Okay, so that's it then. So as I said right at the beginning, please check out Aceface's channel. Awesome channel, and he does a weekly live show.
Absolutely.
Which goes out on a Thursday night at 10 o'clock. It's a really awesome show. Go over all the latest rumours, all the latest tournaments and lists, etc. And there's lots of good chat and banter in the chat box as well. So check that out also if you don't do so. And we will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. So you should have killed those wolves earlier when you had a chance.
Clearly.
I'll stop breathing then. Right, there you are. My first game of 30k, and wow, what a game. That was absolutely...
You start that again.
Yeah, start that again. Right, there you go. My first game of 30k. 30k, what's that?
What sort of game are you playing? I'm not playing that game.
Right, let's start again.